Why would two people have similar abilities be exposed to same situation and one does so well in life, yet the other does averagely? Earlier this year, I was in a room full of high achieving young people who were seemingly really doing well in their field. I discovered that these people were not so different from some people I've met in my journey through life. What them separates these people in the room from the guys that I knew. You see young people doing so well for themselves, and you know you can do what they're doing, maybe even better. Yet you look at your life and you're wondering why you're not getting the same results. This reminds me of this thing I saw on Instagram a while ago, where a man asked ChatGPT that if he were the devil, what would he do to stop people from achieving their goals and reaching their full potential? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk. Today, I'm going to be talking on common blockers or hindrances to pursuing our purpose and achieving great success in this time and age. You might like to check out my first video on finding my life's purpose as a young person in my 20s. There, I share the ultimate key to finding your life's purpose as a young person in your 20s, especially in this time where there are a lot of clarity blockers. So it might do you well to check out that video. So let's talk. Earlier this year, I was in a room full of high achieving young people who were seemingly really doing well in their field. And I observed something powerful that would really change my life and thinking. I discovered that these people were not so different from some people I've met in my journey through life. In fact, I had met people who were as brilliant, maybe even more brilliant than these guys, but they haven't done so much for themselves. So I started to ask myself this question: what them separates these people in the room from the guys that I knew? So I went home, I pondered on that question. I asked myself, why would two people have similar abilities be exposed to same situation and one does so well in life, yet the other does averagely, or even passes through life without even as much as living comfortably? I'm sure some of you can relate to this. You see young people doing so well for themselves, and you know you can do what they're doing, maybe even better. Yet you look at your life and you're wondering why you're not getting the same results, or why you're not even anywhere in life, and you've even started to have self-doubt. You hear that tiny voice from your mind telling you that you might not be so special after all. Everyone was probably wrong about you and your talents or gifts. Now you're slowly starting to believe so. You're slowly telling yourself that you have a lot of excuses as to why you've not made this in life. Now let's go back to the question. What's the difference between the high achieving young people in that room and my brilliant friends who are still struggling in every way? This reminds me of this thing I saw on Instagram a while ago, where a man asked ChatGPT that if he were the devil, what would he do to stop people from achieving their goals and reaching their full potential? Now, I'd like to read out the life responses from ChatGPT. So I'll be selecting the few ones that concerns this video. If I were Satan and I wanted to stop people from reaching their full potential and fulfilling their life's purpose, I'd focus on undermining their confidence, clarity, and motivation. Here's how I would approach it. Create doubt. I'll plant seeds of self-doubt and make people second-guess their abilities. This will cause them to fear failure and abandon their goals early. Distraction. I've flood their lives with distraction, social media, unhealthy relationships, and unnecessary responsibilities. This will keep them too busy and unfocused to work on their purpose. Now, let me talk a bit on this, creating doubt. I asked a question earlier. I said that what's the difference between those people in the room that I was in earlier this year and my friends who were not doing so well in life with better abilities or similar abilities? Well, I would say bravery, courage, and audacity. You know, when I was growing up, there was this saying that I would often hear, fortune favors brave. I never gave much thought to it. It was one of those sayings that other people would always re-echo. But that day, while I was in deep thought as a result of my observation, it struck me. These young fellows in that room were brave enough to do what they thought they should do, what they believed they should do. They didn't just plan and plan, waiting for perfection or waiting for the perfect time. They took action and they took it quickly. If you are blessed with a knowing and you do nothing about it, sooner or later it grows cold in your mind and someone else will do it, and then it will no longer be your original idea. When you have a knowing, you've got to act and you've got to do it quickly. You've got to build your audacity and the bravery to do what you're meant to do. You've got to have the humility to accept that you might fail at first try. And it takes courage to fail. But then you have found one way not to do it. You have to stop talking and talking and talking about these plans. You have to stop making these grand plans and you have to start doing them. You have to stop thinking, stop being all in your head, and you have to start acting. It will save you a lot of time and also save you from regrets. If you must, you should build your confidence. You should start to do hard things. They said character is like a muscle and it's built with practice. Sooner or later, when you start doing those hard things, for example, speaking in front of a crowd, you find that you start to find the ability to do harder things like following through with your purpose. You must have noticed that people that think they are good at something, they are so good at something, even when you don't think they are, eventually succeed at it. Well, there's another set of people that have the confidence and the audacity, but they are still not getting it right. Such people might just lack clarity. So if you're in this category, I think you should ask yourself what your clarity blockers are right now. There might be fast-paced pleasures, social media, graphic images and music, pornography, or even being in your comfort zone. You probably heard this a million times, but I'll tell you again. Block the noise. Take time off social media. Train your mind to not seek instant gratification by reading instead of watching videos or doom scrolling. Focus, meditate, and think. Ditch porn, ditch dirty music, and try to do deep focus for at least a month. You can even extend it to 3 months or maybe 6. Try finding clarity by blocking out the noise. Take time off to meditate. It helps you get clarity. Now, when I'm talking on deep focus, there's deep focus on the wrong things. Sometimes you take out time to focus and then you find yourself doing every other thing except what you're supposed to do. In building motivation, I would say what works for me. Taking myself out of my comfort zone is the best way for me to build motivation. And when I'm talking about taking yourself out of your comfort zone, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to just do it without thinking. You have to be wise. You have to be smart. You don't take yourself out of your comfort zone and put yourself in a position where you are basically just trapped. Concluding this video, I would like to say something that works for me, which is a prayer I normally say when I'm in such situation where I am lacking of confidence. I'm not so sure of myself. I'm starting to have self-doubt. I'm starting to not get clarity at all. I say this prayer, and I think you should. I tell God, help me to see myself the way you see me. God is our manufacturer and he puts some things in us. And when he calls us to something, he's not asking us for what we cannot give. He knows everything inside of us. And you'd find that if you pray and you just start, you'll be shocked at what you can do. The Bible even says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So most of the time we fail to even do because we are leaning more on our understanding than leaning on God's understanding, leaning on what God has placed in us, leaning on God's ability. So that is why I will repeat this part. I say the prayer, God, help me to see myself the way you see me. I pray that everyone listening to me starts to see themselves as God sees them. I'd like to hear from you. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video.